You know, we hear the word extinct, and we think, that's it, game over. But what if that's not the end of the story? What if the final chapter was never actually written for some of the world's most incredible lost animals?
All right, let's get into it. We're going to open up the case files on some of these animals, the ones officially declared gone, but, well, the ones that just refuse to be forgotten. Are they really lost to time, or are they just incredibly good at hiding?
So first up, we're going to look at a couple of species that were pushed right to the brink directly because of us, because of human hunting. Their stories, well, they really set the stage. They show us the tragedy and the incredibly high stakes of what it means when we slap that label, extinct, on a creature.
First case file, the Carolina parakeet. Just look at this bird. This was once the only native parrot in the entire eastern United States. And its most beautiful quality, this incredible loyalty to its flock, well, that tragically turned out to be its fatal flaw. This is just heartbreaking. The bird's own nature was pretty much weaponized against it. Imagine this, a hunter would shoot one parakeet, but the rest of the flock wouldn't fly away. Nope, they'd actually fly back to the spot, circling and crying over their fallen friend. It made them just tragically easy targets. The last known one, a bird named Incas, died in a zoo back in 1918. But, and this is where it gets interesting, people kept reporting sightings for another 20 years. It planted this tiny seed of doubt, like maybe, just maybe, a few of them made it.
All right, next up, the great auk. And this timeline, man, it just shows this long, slow, centuries-long slide into nothingness. This big, flightless seabird was, for thousands of years, an easy target for food, oil, you name it. But by the 1800s, the hunting was just out of control. The last big colonies were completely wiped out, and here's the final, just cruelest twist of irony. The last confirmed pair, they were killed for museum collectors. Yeah, the very people who were supposed to be documenting the species were actually helping to finish it off.
Okay, so we've seen how we lost them, but now things are about to get weird. We're shifting from hard historical fact to that blurry, hazy line where folklore and biology crash into each other. What happens when local legends sound a lot like they're describing an animal that's supposed to be long, long gone?
Check this out. On one side, you have the giant ground sloth. Officially, it vanished about 11,000 years ago. Okay. But then, deep in the Amazon, you have these persistent legends of the mapinguari, a giant, hairy, terrifying beast. And here's the real kicker, the part that gives you goosebumps. Some of those ancient ground sloths had bony plates right under their skin, which perfectly matches the description of the mapinguari's supposedly bulletproof body. So, is this just an ancient memory passed down through generations? Or could it be sightings of a creature that never actually went away?
Now this next story is just a tangled, tragic mess. The Zanzibar leopard, it wasn't just hunted for its fur or because it was a predator, it was straight up demonized. There was this widespread local belief that witches were keeping these leopards, kind of like supernatural attack dogs, to terrorize people. That fear, it got so bad that after 1964, the government itself launched an official extermination campaign. And just like that, the island's top predator was gone.
But then, this. In 2018, a camera trap caught something. This grainy footage appears to show a leopard, right there on the island. And of course, it sparked this huge wave of hope. But a lot of experts are skeptical. They question if it's real. And since we don't know exactly where it was filmed, and there's no DNA, it's totally impossible to say for sure. Was it a ghost from the past, or something else entirely? The mystery is very much alive.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Now we're entering the modern era of the search. We're not just talking about old stories and grainy photos anymore. Now, scientists and amateur sleuths are armed with some serious tech. We're talking drones, high-def camera traps, environmental DNA analysis, all of it in a high-tech hunt for nature's ghosts.
59 days. That's it. That's how long the Tasmanian tiger, also called the thylacine, was officially a protected species before the very last known one died in a zoo in 1936. Just 59 days. That last one was famously named Benjamin, though we found out later she was actually a female. And the worst part, she apparently died from neglect. It's a staggering, heartbreaking number that perfectly sums up our failure to act in time.
And this is where the story takes a turn straight out of science fiction. The search for the thylacine isn't just about scouring the outback for survivors anymore. Oh no. Now, scientists are trying to literally reverse extinction. They've managed to get RNA from a 130-year-old museum specimen, they've sequenced the whole genome, and now they're using its closest living relative, this little mouse-like creature called a dunnart, in a mind-blowing project to bring the thylacine back to life. I mean, wow.
Talk about a dramatic flip. For centuries, the Japanese wolf wasn't just an animal. It was revered, seen as a guardian of the mountains, a protector of farms. People honored it. But then, things changed. Rabies spread, forests were cleared, and suddenly, this sacred guardian was rebranded as a dangerous pest. The government literally put a price on its head, offering bounties, and by 1905, it was officially declared extinct.
But those whispers of the wolf, they never really went away. Even today, from the mountains of Japan, you get these strange reports. There's some really compelling photos taken back in 1996 of an animal that looks an awful lot like one. And as recently as 2018, someone recorded a howl that experts listened to and said, you know what? That's really, really close to a wolf's call. None of it is that one piece of slam dunk evidence, but it's more than enough to keep that hope alive. And then there's the strange case of the ivory-billed woodpecker. This is a wild one. In 2021, the US government was literally ready to call it. They were going to officially declare it extinct, close the book. But then there was this huge outcry. Birdwatchers, experts, regular folks, all insisting they'd seen it, that it was still out there. And it worked. The government actually paused its decision. So now the bird exists in this weird official limbo. Kind of gone, but not quite.
So this scorecard really sums up the whole problem, doesn't it? For all of these modern cases, the thylacine, the Japanese wolf, the ivory-billed woodpecker, the pattern is exactly the same. You've got tons of eyewitness accounts. You've got blurry photos, grainy videos, weird audio recordings. It's all so tantalizing, so close. But it never, ever meets that super high bar for scientific proof. And so they stay as ghosts in the official record.
Okay, so we've looked at the evidence, we've gone through the case files, so what's the final verdict here? Hope or hoax? Are we talking about real, genuine survivors just hanging on against all odds? Or is this all just a mix of wishful thinking and simple mistaken identity?
And really, it all boils down to this one simple but massive challenge. Proving a negative, proving that something is gone forever, is almost impossible. How do you prove something isn't there? But on the flip side, proving that it still exists, that requires an incredibly high standard of proof. A blurry photo isn't going to cut it. An eyewitness account, sadly, isn't enough. Without a clear body, a high-quality photo, or solid DNA evidence, a lost species stays exactly that, a ghost.
And maybe that's the real point of all this, the passionate search for these ghosts of the past. It really shows this deep human hope that maybe we can undo our mistakes. But it's also a huge, urgent wake-up call, isn't it? It's a reminder of what's at stake for the countless species that are on the brink right now. So the real question isn't just, are they out there? It's, what are we going to do to make sure more animals don't end up in these same sad case files?